Hello, everyone, to our next episode 39 of our Over the Limit podcast. Today, we have another German legend on our podcast with quite an impressive CV. It's the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 24 Hours of Daytona, 24 Hours of Nürburgring, a DTM champion. He's currently living the American dream and racing for Ford. He recently mentioned us on a podcast with two weirdos, and we thought we invited him on the proper podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Rockenfeller.
Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Should definitely send that intro to dinner.
Yeah, they will love that. I mean, I feel like I'm just doing podcasts now. I've never done one before. And now it's the second one. No, quite cool to be with you guys.
Yeah. Welcome. I listened to actually the episode with Dinner at Racer, and it's always interesting to hear everybody's stories. Obviously, they are mainly, I would say, American-based, so I thought it would be very interesting to give, let's say, our audience or the European, maybe more European-based audience, a little bit the background of your life, your careers. Yeah, here we are. Dries is sitting here as well in the middle of his boxes, but he's there.
Yeah, I'm middle of moving, but I found a space to sit somewhere in the corner. It's a bit of a... I mean, actually, I thought it would be nice and fun to move houses, but it's really the biggest pain in the ass I've ever experienced so far. It's so bad.
I've done the same thing for the last couple of months, I would say. Well, we moved in 6 weeks ago, but when you have 3 kids, and then obviously as you get older, you have more stuff. And if you have space, you even have more, which you shouldn't. Sometimes you just should get rid of it. But anyway, I feel with you. I still have some unpacked boxes here and there.
I moved 5 years ago, and I said never again. And I mean, we'll come to another episode, but 2 months ago we also moved, and I actually ended up throwing half of our stuff away or selling it because it was just...
It's crazy how much stuff you find. I even found clothing with still the ticket on the plastic. I never wore it. I'm like, I never thought I would ever find this again.
Yeah, maybe we should do another episode just about how to move or what's the most efficient way.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all my team gear, not even at my place. It's still at my parents' place in the basement. I don't really know why I kind of stored it, at the beginning of not only suits, I mean, also like trousers and shirts and stuff.
Even those.
Even
you keep those as well.
Well, I think at the time we were not allowed to just throw them away or to give them away to people at Audi at least. And I somehow, did manage to stop by and give it to them because I think they normally took care of it after the year.
It's the same at Porsche.
But yeah, quite some stacks of team gear from the past.
I just collect now suits, helmets, and trophies.
Yeah.
And I mean, over the years starts to be... I still haven't moved that neither. It's still in Belgium.
I'm also doing helmet and trophies, but helmet and suits. Trophies, unfortunately, in the last years, they got less and less.
Yeah.
I won less and less, so that was a bit bummer, especially when you have kids. They love to, if you come home and you bring them a trophy. But yeah, that's nice. I agree. The rest, I mean, it's better to give away.
So, Mike, to everyone listening, I mean, I think 99% of our listeners know who you are, what you've achieved, and what you're currently doing. But like with everyone, I think every one of our guests, they always have their own story, how their career started, and also the difficult parts they had in their younger career to get where we are today or to become a professional, which are always very interesting to hear for younger guys listening to us, for them to know like it's not always sunshine. There's very often very difficult moments. So we'll go a bit over that, and maybe you can start from how did your career actually started going? Is it for your parents? Not at all. Karting, straight away in cars.
Yeah, I mean, I would say more or less pretty classic in a way that I started with go-karts when I was 9 years old. Just by coincidence, there was a go-kart track not too far from where I grew up, and my parents, I mean, like 45 minutes, and my dad has been there, I think, with some friends once, and then he told me about it when I was 9 years old or 8 years old, and we went there, and we just rented a go-kart. I think at the time it was like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I don't remember. Yeah, and I was kind of infected straight away with, with the... Yeah, I wanted to do it every weekend, and we did that so for quite a while. we drove up there and then just rented a kart for a few minutes and then had a break and did it again and again. And I really liked it. And then I bought my first go-kart, or we bought our first go-kart, a used one. I think it was a Magnum chassis, if I remember correct. And it was a 100cc engine. Bambini at the time was not really existing. And I was sharing the go-kart with my dad because he kind of liked it then as well. So I had just a small seat in his big seat. And then, we had like an adapter for the pedals. So I ended up driving more and more and he less and less. And then, some club racing. And then I started with Bambini when this came out. I was already kind of old. I was 11 years old by then. But that was my first, let's say, championship, really. And then we kept going, juniors in Germany mainly, some international races, probably one European championship I took part of in Parma. Probably you have been there as well at the Trofeo Maguti.
That's where I had my very bad accident.
Yeah. See, so there's another one. Yeah, I didn't know about that. But yeah, wonderful go-kart track, I would say. But very fast. Where was it actually? Was it?
I don't remember anything. I lost half of the day. I had 6 broken bones.
Holy cow. No.
What they told me is that at the start and somebody drove over me.
Yeah, I had something.
You were too aggressive, or?
I don't know. I don't remember. Sincerely, maybe it's a good thing. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, so I drove there. I did Monaco Kart Cup. My first junior year, Andre Lotterer, who you know a little bit, I guess. Lawrence was my teammate. Was your teammate. He was in his, I think, last year in juniors, and obviously a big name already back then in karting. He was, I think, already European champion in juniors then. Anyway, so yeah, I did that for a couple of years. Won a few races. Never won the championship, I think, in the junior category. Then I moved on to another championship when normally, with 15 or 16, you move to the senior category.
Mm-hmm.
And the German championship was quite well known, I would say. It was even on live TV. So that was my dream to do the seniors. But my dad said, no, we don't do that. We don't really have the money. And there was a new championship around the corner with an ex-driver, professional racing driver who did it, Jörg van Ormen Kart Cup, it was called. So it was for me not, at the time, obviously not as glorious, so I didn't really like the idea, but my dad said, look, if you can do that, or if we do that, you basically get prize money. It's very, affordable. You just have your own chassis. The engines are you have a lottery, so every weekend you have a different engine, but obviously all the same fuel, same tires, only a 2-day event. So that was kind of cool, I think, because you didn't have to stay out of school for it. And then you got prize money. And on top of it, you had the chance to get a free season in a single-seater championship, which was Formula König. At the time, is not existing anymore. I would say, a bit like Formula Ford or maybe now Formula 4, right? So, I won that. And then I won the selection. And then I did my first year in racing, let's say, in a big racing world, let's call it. And my karting days, I would say, to sum it up, I really enjoyed it. But on the other hand, it was also not that easy sometimes because we didn't know if we can afford the next race weekend. And that was, when you are young, you kind of, my parents didn't really talk about it much, but you feel it and you know it and you listen and you grow. I think in racing, we all kind of grow up pretty fast.
Yeah.
And for sure I did there. And I had to prep my own go-kart, the clutches and everything, in the junior category. I did it all because my dad had no time. He had to work the whole week. And then I learned a lot. And I was just lucky, to be at the right time. And then, had my moments there to, let's say, to perform. And
at least back then you could still do it that way with your father and your family and so on.
You could do it. Yes. In the Bambini category, we used one set of tires the whole year long.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember Sebastian Vettel. He just came in the same championship. Obviously, he was a bit younger, 3.5 years. He is younger, and his dad had this machine where you because we were just collecting rubber. We were not losing any. We were just collecting all the rubber, and then he had this machine where you put on the tire and you grind it off again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And then we had it as well, and stuff like that you will never forget. And
Different times.
It was super cheap and affordable, which I think is the right way. I
Yeah.
don't think it's right that, it's such a down to who has the biggest budget, testing the most, the best engines all the time. I mean, that is
Exactly.
racing, yes, but I think it's too early. I think we just want to have fun and have a lot of people being able to afford it.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. I think nowadays it's so huge. Like, to do a season in go-karts is so expensive, and I think you also miss out a lot of drivers who never ever get the chance actually to even drive. Which
I agree. That's a shame.
even goes in everything in the motorsports at the moment. I think everything is getting more expensive, but for sure it always starts with go-karts, which is already, if you compare this now, and I'm the youngest of you two guys, but if you compare it to when I was doing go-karts, nowadays for that money you're doing go-karts now, you did Formula cars. So for you, it's just crazy.
Yeah, the budget, the number when I won this karting championship and then the Formula König season, it was 160,000 Deutschmark. So 80,000 euros kind of at the time when they changed, to the euro for the whole season, including probably 2 or 3 test days. Unbelievable. Yeah, now you can't even do a go-kart championship for that on a high level.
No.
Yeah, so that was, but also it means I'm a bit old because it's a long time ago.
We all get there. It goes fast, very fast.
For sure. When you look back, yeah.
And you were still dreaming of Formula One at that time? Like, most of us when we're young, or you knew that was maybe difficult because
it was only F1. I was so naive.
Same, like all of us.
Michael Schumacher was just, when I started go-karts, it was just when he also became really famous and did his first Formula One World Championship with Benetton. And I was probably back then, I started a year before that or so. So there was a huge hype in Germany, and not only Germany, but, in the German-speaking countries, whatever. It was massive. And he really brought it to a different level. I would say everybody kind of was watching F1 at the time. And then as a kid, I think, like you said, all of us, you look up to them, and I've watched every race, and you dream to be a Formula One driver. And I didn't even know about all the other championships. I didn't really care. They were not obviously especially when you don't come from a motorsport family. You have no clue. So for me, F1 was the big championship, and then I didn't know that there was Le Mans or all these races. That came later. That came a lot later.
Yeah,
it's crazy how it all. Never mind.
In a way, it how do you say? I came to reality when I was probably doing my Formula König championship. That was because I was 17, and then obviously we were a support series of another championship. There were some touring cars and here and there, and then you watch. And then I think I went once to Nürburgring to watch a DTM race. Obviously it was raining and foggy, but I remember sitting on the grandstand and seeing the cars with the lights. Alfa Romeo was still driving. So it was really a cool time back then. And then, coming to the Porsche junior team selection, because when I did Formula König, I basically again had the issue after the season. I think I finished third or fourth in the championship. I don't remember exactly, but I won a few races. It was not a bad year, for me for the first time, and not really having the proper budget, proper testing. It was all good. And they asked me if I want to come to this junior team selection for a new new driver that they are looking for to replace Timo Bernhard. And didn't really know much about Carrera Cup or Porsche because I was driving it was called Peru Top 10. So it was the V8 Star or whatever it was called, V8 Star. And then the smaller touring cars, and then obviously our championship and some other stuff. So I was never really with the DTM or with the Carrera Cup, and I didn't have it on my radar at all. But as I came to Weissach the first time, I immediately realized that this is what I really want to win, to get that seat and to get that factory deal. And that was my big chance, and luckily I won it. And then from there on, I, kind of got the education to be a professional driver with Porsche when I was really young. And then I stayed there in total 5 years and moved on to Audi. That was my entry, my real entry, I would say, in the big
But
racing
back then, I
world.
would
But you
say
did
that
you did
Porsche
then
Junior
just
was still almost bigger than it is today, right? Back then, if you would get into it, it was still works team, and it was if you
Yeah.
would do well, you would be
Yes, it
pretty
was
sure that
almost,
you would be a factory driver, no?
yeah, it was pretty guaranteed. I mean, not
Yeah,
written,
yeah.
but as we all know, when at the time it was Owen Hayes was our engineer, Roland Kusmal, who was a Porsche legend, was the engineer before him. It was in-house. The cars were prepped in Weissa. We had factory mechanics. It was really proper. We had UPS as a sponsor. We didn't do any testing. I mean, everybody thought we were testing a lot, and obviously we had all the budget, but we really didn't, because Porsche obviously gave us the best kind of possible material. So let's say if you touch the wall, everything was new. There was no question for safety. There was no need to not replace an uprighter. So in terms of, it was a very delicate championship to be in, as it's only customers of Porsche, and then you race against them. So it was not easy. I learned early the politics of racing right there. But it was, when I look back, it was the most, how do I say that? I enjoyed it the most in all my racing career. If I look back now, the junior times, because
Why is that?
because, you are really young, and all the pain is gone of finding the budget for the next season in go-karts, finding the budget for, let's say, the single-seater championship I wanted to do after Formula König. We had no chance anyway. Formula Renault was the goal, but there was no way to do that. So I was just focusing on racing. I earned a little bit of money. I was living at my parents' place. There was not much I had to worry about.
Yeah.
It was just, learning race by race. They gave me all the backing to really focus on that and feel safe to kind of develop, myself or all the drivers they had. Everybody obviously got the same chance back then. Like you say, it changed a bit over the years, the system, but it was very nice. And Porsche didn't have they didn't have that many factory drivers. It was,
No.
Probably 5, 6. That was it, plus the juniors. And so it was very, very small group. Also, the motorsport department was very small. It was very different to nowadays.
And if you say you learned the politics, I think there's a good story there, no? If I heard it.
Well, you mean the one in my second year? Poor Stippi, no. He was, Frank Stippler was the main guy. He was the top driver, let's say, in the Super Cup. Super Cup was not our championship. We were just there 4 or 5
Was
races.
he already that aggressive when he was young?
And now I would say the older he got, the
Yeah.
more aggressive. When I watch him now at the Nordschleife, I think we all agree he's very aggressive. But I do want to say it looks like he has it under control somewhat.
That's true.
Because
True.
he's not
Yeah.
really crashing.
No.
So, I mean, hats off. What is his age now? 50? Close to,
I think.
should be, yeah. But man, he's super fast. I think he made a really good move one day, to focus on the Nordschleife. For him, obviously, he comes from that area. He loves it, and he's doing all the development work for road cars there since many, many years. And he's unbelievable fast there, yeah. Especially in traffic, we all know it's about traffic there. And Stippi, I when I watch some onboards, it's unreal. Back then, I didn't really know him that much.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to me that much. Probably didn't like me. I don't know, or he didn't like the junior team whatsoever. He was. He was really good, and he won both championships. And long story short, we were fighting for the championship, and the head of Porsche Motorsport back then came to me in Zandvoort and told me in the Porsche trailer that that he doesn't want me to win the championship. I'm not allowed to win it. And I said, well, yeah.
He just said it like this, straight to
He
straight
said it
to.
straight, no bullshit. He said, look, Timo Bernhard won the championship last year. No, Timo Bernhard won the championship 2 years ago. Last year, Mark Lieb won it. So another junior, and you would be the next one. That would be 3 in a row. We already have a lot of complaints by the customers. We cannot do this. We just can't do it. And I didn't really understand, back then. I mean, then I did 15 years of DTM. Then I learned a lot more. But back then when you are dreaming about the big career and winning and you have the, I mean, one thing I want to 100% say here that I think probably Stippy would have won anyway. I don't know. I don't remember every detail, but all I know is I think from my memory, I need to look back and nowadays, obviously you can check it all. If I was leading going into Zandvoort, but he said basically, I think all I had to do is finish behind him. It was 2 more rounds. And I said, yeah, but if he has an issue, well, then he said, then you have an issue as well. You just go in the gravel and you'll finish your race. You end your race. Sorry, you don't finish your race. And that was super hard to digest. Also, nobody in the team really knew, just Helmut Greiner. He was running the Carrera Cup and the head of the junior team at the time. And Owen Hayes, nobody from the mechanics knew. And it was a secret for a long, long time. But again, I don't know, maybe I would have never won it in that year anyway.
Yeah.
But it was hard and I didn't like it at all. And he said, basically, if you don't do it, you won't have a future in Porsche. On the other hand, I do want to say he was gone shortly after. So probably I had a career anyway there.
Would you do the same? Would you have done the same if what you know today back then?
Yeah, probably because I grew up like that and I kind of understood that. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, in the position where I was, it was the right thing for me to do, even though as a sportsman, it's not right. You want to fight for it no matter what. You don't want to get told not to win it. And I think it was good for well, I don't know. Like I said, he was gone anyway, and it was a new situation.
Probably you didn't know at that point. So
yeah, also I think it was your first year as a junior, no?
Second year. So you have normally 3 years, right? But after 3 years, you're gone. So some won it in I think Timo and Mark, if I'm not wrong, they won it in their 3rd year. I won it then at the end in my 3rd year. So the year later, some won it in the 1st year. Lucas, I don't know anyway how many were. Yeah, I need to look into it. I think it was Lucas Luhr, Timo Bernhard, Mark Lieb, myself. Was there actually another one in the junior team who won the championship? I don't know. Was it Dirk Müller? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
But actually, I mean, also being a junior at that time, I think it's not, I mean, nowadays, if they would tell you you have to not win the championship because of that, you would probably say something completely different than what you would have said back then. Because you're a junior, you're new in the game. And like that, I mean, that's how I would look at it if it would be me.
I mean, I was arguing a lot. I wasn't quiet in a corner. And I mean, I was 19 years old? 19, yeah. I mean, he was the head of Porsche Motorsport. He was not my direct boss, but obviously he was. And he would have been my boss when I signed the factory deal after. But
it's not easy at that age to say.
Well, yeah, it's not. I mean, I was not happy. I called my parents. I was like, you can't believe what's going on here and so on and so on. But when you look at the big picture now, I mean, it was only a year. I won it the year after. Yeah, maybe if it could have, everything can be different. But I think from Porsche's perspective, I fully understood the issue they had. They brought, there's a good intention to have this junior team, or at the time to run it in their own championship. They really had full control. They knew exactly what was going on with their drivers. But the dangerous part was that, because of some coincidences at that time, it would have been 3 years in a row. And as you know,
that's why it doesn't exist today anymore.
Exactly. 100%. But I think it's a shame because I believe it was very special to be so close to the factory in such an early age. But anyway, yeah. That was the story. Stippy won it and probably would have won it anyway. And he won Super Cup at the same time. Probably now he knows because I think I said it in the last podcast we talked earlier about, and I say it here again. And yeah, that's it. It's when was it? 2003. So we can talk about it now, I would say.
It's expired.
It's expired. Legally expired.
And then when you got your full factory contract, I mean, to know how it works, you then also did Super Cup and Carrera Cup, or then you could do then the Nordschleife or...
Exactly. You're right. The junior team was only based on the German Carrera Cup and I think 5 races in the Porsche Super Cup where you had guest starts where basically UPS, they were special. Like we went to Monaco, Silverstone, Hockenheim. So for them to bring their guests to the Paddock Club in the F1 surrounding was even, more special for UPS. And that's why they choose those events. For us, it was also nice to be in that environment and drive some races. And then they started, let's say in my case, but also with the others, when they knew, okay, this could be a candidate for a factory driver after, they started to, for example, for me, I did then, while I was still a junior, I did the first time 24 hours of Daytona or Petit Le Mans to kind of get to the next step, with customer teams. And then that was the case. And then after my junior time, 2004, when I won the championship, then finally in my third year, I became a factory driver, and my main programs were FIA GT, 24 hours of Le Mans, Nürburgring, 24 hours, everything basically you could drive at the time with Porsche.
But it was more customer racing, right? It was not
more customer, factory supported teams like Manthey, like Alex Job in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're right. It was a different style.
Yeah,
very different. Also, the 24 hours of Nürburgring. I mean, we had like probably 3 to 5 proper cars maximum. Maybe 6. I don't want to be rude, but where you were fighting against, not like it, nowadays where you have like 30.
Yeah, today's crazy.
So you spent like 5 years in total at Porsche or longer?
5 years in total at Porsche until.
And then you switched to Audi.
Yeah.
Where you spent, I think, most of your career.
Yeah.
What was the reason behind that?
Oh, yeah.
The reason was, looking back to it, probably that is maybe one thing I would have done different nowadays, because I had a really good chance and a really good offer from Porsche to stay and do the RS Spider program in the US with Penske. And one or the other person probably talked me into the Audi project, because not from Audi really. I mean, it was my own choice at the end, but I wasn't super happy at the time with Porsche, because they didn't put me straight away into the RS Spider lineup, because I was super young. They thought, okay, the natural thing is to do 2-3 years in a GT. And then I did obviously the Daytona prototypes back then. And anyway, they didn't choose me. I was a little, probably that's one thing, my character, that I'm not very patient sometimes. I didn't understand why I didn't get the chance right away. Long story short, I did one race, but they knew already that I will most likely leave at the end of the year. So they gave me still the chance to do the last race of the season. That was just the first year, 2006, when they did the RS Spider for the full year. And it was a super neat car, very cool, very nice to drive.
I still dream of driving it once. It was some kind of classic thing.
I mean, probably when you drive it now, I don't know how it would feel, but back then, coming from a GT car or a Carrera Cup, then a GT car, which is slower than a GT3 now, and then jumping into an LMP2, I was like, I felt like now I'm in Formula One, finally. Because when I left the box and I'm sure everybody of us has kind of a similar memory with something. When I left the pits at Sebring the first time, when I did my first test, and I released the pit speed, and, just the pedal shift already was the first time I had something like that. I mean, I was used to heel and toe, blip, and we had H pattern gearbox in the GTs. So it was very different, and it was just super nice. Yeah. Then I because Audi also, to be fair, I mean, I could do LMP1 and DTM at the same time, which
was a proper program.
Was quite a high level, how do you say, a project there, compared to what Porsche at the time was doing. And that's why I made the decision to stick to my word with Dr. Ulrich. And when I say I regret it a little bit, it's not because how do you say, I didn't have a good time at Audi. I'm just saying that Porsche, a few more years at Porsche probably would have been good for my development, because it was still a different environment, and I was very much appreciated there. Let's say it this way. And I had a lot of friends around me which
Yeah,
probably at Audi changed a bit at the beginning. And then, it's not that easy.
it's never easy to do a change. If you
Exactly. It's
No,
never easy to do a change. You don't know the people. And
yeah,
again, it's a much bigger program, more drivers.
it's like changing a girl is also never easy. Yeah?
Well, I didn't do that for many times, so I don't know. But, it's, how do you say? It's, people were probably waiting there for my mistakes, where at Porsche, if something went wrong, they were just trying to help you up again. Where probably one or the other person at Audi in this environment was not really doing that, was doing the opposite. But that's, in a way, it's kind of normal. And I had to fight through I had definitely less success in 15 years than I wanted to have at the time. Again, you say it right. Times have changed. With Porsche, I was used to win kind of every year something, right? Well, it was the junior times, but even then, those 2 years, I was able to win Le Mans with them. I was able to win Nürburgring, the 24 hours with Manthey, the FIA GT Championship, the 24 hours of Spa. There was always kind of success. And then for a long time, there was a lot of drama for me in Audi. Luckily, Dr. Ulrich was there, who was a real gentleman for me, at least, and kind of helped me out and stick to me. And even when I had my, let's say, bad moments, he supported me. And DTM was definitely difficult when you were not in the right team, not in the right car at the right time. It was not easy, and it was easy to look not good, let's say. And that I didn't expect. I really didn't expect that. My feeling was I go there and I win straight away, everything. No problem, because that's what I was used to at the time. Well, it looked like it didn't happen. So, yeah.
Well, you won it once, which is already...
Yeah, but, it's not...
I know what you mean. But...
kind of, you want to do it more often. And at the end, I only won three things in 15 years, really. Big things. It was the DTM Championship. It was the 24 Hours of Le Mans once. And for me, nobody really knows it anymore. It's the Le Mans Series, which we were in, which is, now it's a WEC, but it was kind of a similar thing, more European-based. But it was Audi versus Peugeot. And that's also very different. I mean, now when you guys go to Le Mans in the hyper category, hypercars, you have how many cars now on the grid next year? Around what?
20, I guess.
20 or 21?
So when I was there, we had 3 Audis usually and 3 Peugeots. And then obviously, then Toyota arrived and then Porsche. But it was never a lot of cars. And still it was super tough. Because that's why, I only won it once. A guy like Tom Christensen, he managed to win it 9 times, which is unreal. Crazy career. But it was still difficult. As we were, I don't know, somehow it didn't really go as smooth as it went with my Porsche years.
Well, in the end, I understand what you mean, but winning DTM, winning Le Mans is already 2 things which will make your career to be proud of. But I know what you mean.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm super happy and all good. It is what it is. And many, many other drivers which are just, as good or maybe even better, they didn't have that, they were not as fortunate, let's say. So that is obvious. But still, for myself, it was a very long time. Like when you do DTM, some years, I mean, you were happy to be in the top 10. And that is hard, year after year. And you start to not believe in yourself anymore. And that is the big danger. I think we all have been there. Maybe DTM was clearly a championship where it was easy to get in that.
I did 1 year of DTM, and it wasn't even the proper DTM what you were doing, and already it was the worst season of my career.
Yeah, and that I would say, that was the year after I left, right? Because it was the second year of GT3 cars. It was with SSR.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And GT3, when it came, it was actually because the factories were not that much involved, and you had only 2 or 4 cars per brand, kind of. It was a complete different championship. When I was there, sometimes half of the field were my teammates, when it was Merck and Audi only. So in the start scenario, you were just looking, they were all over the place next to you, and it was easy to make contact with teammates. And we all know manufacturers don't like that. So it was a tough one, but also it was always a dream to go there. At the time when I joined 2007, the Motodrome in Hockenheim, it was full of people. It was amazing, and it was well known. It was a big championship. It was nice to be part of it. And like you said, you can't win it every year. I mean, Mika Häkkinen was there at the time. Bernd Schneider was still there. There were some big names.
Yeah, it was very nice, I think. And also the cars to drive, they were cool, no?
They were cool,
proper cars back then.
I would say very much like an LMDH now, kind of, when it were at the end with the turbo engine. Similar kind of weight, similar downforce probably. Straight line speed is definitely less because they were less efficient. But yeah, they were fun to drive. I mean, sure, the tires were not that nice, let's say that great.
I remember.
The one-made tire is never really the best for performance. But I think one race I did in Japan we raced the Super GT.
Yeah.
And they were cool as well.
I heard that was not a good weekend.
You mean for us, for me, or what happened?
For you, or I'm completely
no,
wrong?
Maybe you're right. I mean, I keep
on the
kind of
lap to the grid.
Oh, I spun.
Yeah.
That is it true? No.
Or it's somebody else.
No,
I thought I heard the story this year.
No, not
because
me.
you did it for WRT.
No, I drove.
No, it was Trillier. I think it was for
Trillier or
WRT.
somebody. He. I think so.
Sorry, then I'm wrong. But he unfortunately spun on the way to grid and.
Maybe. I mean, we all know this, and it looks stupid, but it's very easy.
It's the worst nightmare, but it's easy done.
Exactly. It's always something you think about, like, oh my God, don't overdo it. Get the tires.
I was close a
to
couple
10,
times already the last years, especially in the LMDH with cold tires. It's
this is a nightmare.
Can be scary.
I mean, I'm not. That's one thing I'm not really missing. When I did the JDC here in IMSA, well, in America it's not too bad because temps are pretty good usually when we race.
Except
I guess when
Daytona
you're
on
in
the
Spa,
night.
yeah, Daytona on the night, but we didn't do Daytona, so that's why.
Okay.
We started late in the year. But yeah, it's that's tough. No, it was good. It was good. Yeah.
But then you had a long career in DTM with Audi, but also a long, let's say, relationship with Phoenix or with Ernst Moser. I think also for you, I mean, you guys had a good connection, I guess, no? Like, because you did so many years together.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Ernst as well. I did a few races for him, and amazing guy.
Exactly. But I had also a lot of fights with Ernst. I mean, when you race for such a long time, and especially in DTM,
Ernst is also not difficult to get into a fight with.
Yeah, he's a racer, very emotional, and he also says what he thinks. And yeah, we had definitely some more, let's say, more noisy conversations where it was good that the trucks were sealed and closed because it was not always easy. We all wanted success, and obviously a driver sometimes has a different opinion why it didn't work, and that Ernst was probably the opinion that I didn't get my act together. So there was a few times quite some hot discussions, but he just came by last week with his wife, and we just had a coffee, and we have a very, very good relationship after so many years. Of course, we had success, we had bad years, and also at the Nürburgring. It's also something, when I came to Audi, I drove it with the R8 in the very first year, and I never managed to win a 24-hour race again at the Nürburgring. There was always something going wrong. And that was a shame because Phoenix was very successful there. And I wish that I had, one victory there with them, but didn't work out.
One is already more than many others.
Yeah. No, but Ernst I did most of the years there. I did my first 3 years at Rosberg, which were the worst, a proper nightmare, to be honest. And then for many reasons. And then I went to Phoenix for 1 year, still in an old car. And that was really good because then it just changed. I had a really, really good year there. And the year later, I went to Abt to get the new car. And then I went back to Phoenix when the DTM restarted with, let's say, the new chassis when BMW entered in 2012. And then I stayed with Phoenix until the second last year, and then with the GT3, I went with Abt again.
Yeah.
Before my contract was over, and Audi now they are, let's say, their strategy is a bit different now in racing.
Slightly.
Yeah.
We all know.
Well, you coming to that point after that, since now, I think we all know, following motorsport, that Audi had a bit of a abrupt and maybe infamous end to the motorsport we knew, which they were the benchmark for a long time. But I think now you found your grounds in America and IMSA with a very nice program, which you always been a bit part of as an endurance driver, if I remember, in the last couple of years. My guess is you are enjoying the American racing. You also did some NASCAR, so the NASCAR project in Le Mans and so forth, and some proper NASCAR Cup races as well.
True. Yeah.
Are you living the American dream, or?
Not yet. I would say in my new program, it's a new chapter, obviously coming. I always try to race in parallel as much as I can in America, even though when Audi was not racing there really anymore, I was trying to do Daytona prototypes in the long races, or in Daytona at least. And then I did 4 years with Corvette in GTLM or GTE. What was it called in America? Actually, one or the other. I think GTE, right?
GTLM.
Yeah. Okay. And then in Le Mans it was GTE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GT
exactly.
Pro.
Or GT Pro. So
Yeah.
well, yeah, you're right.
Even we don't know
Pro.
how should the fans follow us.
Anyway, it was super cool to be with them. And I raced with Action Express a couple of years. That's also 2010 when I was lucky to win the 24 Hours of Daytona overall with them. And then I always had this connection to the US. Every year something came up, and I knew that when the Audi decision came to not do LMDH and to go a different path and obviously to change bosses as well in racing, that my era with them is also coming to an end. And then I was looking right and left, and honestly, I struggled a lot to get anything. And then luckily Ford, started the new program with the Mustang, and I got in touch with them. And it worked out. And to be there from the beginning is nice. I mean, we all know it's not so easy at the beginning as well. So our first year was not as good as we all hoped for. But let's see. Season 2, a lot of changes in America for our team on the driver's side, but also the team structure. So I think we hopefully can improve. Being with JDC last year was very nice in 23. They gave me the chance really to be back in racing full time, and I'm very grateful. And I had the chance to continue with them. But it was not an easy decision, to be fair, because when you come from a prototype, that was my dream, to be back in a factory prototype one day. And nothing was really working for me. And then I had the opportunity to be for, let's say, a few years in this program with Ford now. And Ford is actually, many people in Europe don't know, but they have a really big program in racing now. Not only the GT3, obviously they do NASCAR, they do F1 with Red Bull, they do dirt racing, they do now Dakar, they are back there. So they do a lot and they push a lot, and I like that. I'm probably in the fall of my career. And let's see what we can win together. But I'm super happy to be with them. And like you say, if you ask me about America, I always like the atmosphere. I always like the mentality in the paddock and the racing environment there. When you win, they take it kind of easy, but also when you don't win, they take it kind of easy. So it's a very different vibe. And I really enjoy that. The travel, I don't enjoy that much, but that's, my own choice. I mean, I didn't move there, so I need to fly a bit, but we all have to. That's normal. Again, as you get older and you have kids, it's a bit more difficult to leave home than back in the day. But I think it's super cool to race in the US.
We were close to, or we were considering back then when I was doing IMSA to move to America. We're actually quite close to do it, but then my wife, she's very attached to her family. Our daughter was still very young, so it would have been possible, but we didn't do it.
We had the same discussions, and we did the same, at the end, the same decisions, or the same decision to not do it. But I really love it. And you mentioned the NASCAR. I mean,
how was that?
Well, that's something probably the other thing I regret a bit, that I never tried when I was younger to kind of get my foot in the door. I mean, I couldn't see that. I did one NASCAR test when I was still with Porsche, so it must have been 05 or 06, a long time ago at Kentucky Speedway. That was my only, connection there, and then never again. That was only a test because I had some connection there, and then they asked me if I want to do it, and that was it. The test ended, unfortunately, pretty early. I had a puncture on the front right and hit the wall massively. So the car was destroyed, and the test was over sooner or earlier than we expected. And then to be back, it all came because of the Garage 56 project and my connection then with Hendrik. And then there was a small team at the time. Now they became a bigger team at Spire. And they asked me if I want to do 2 races. And that was, when was it? 2 years ago. And it was amazing. Guys, I tell you, for me, it's the coolest racing.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Because, of course, I mean, I didn't do oval. So probably that's the thing, which normally they do only oval racing. They do only a couple. I think they do now 4 or 5 road courses, and it becomes more and more important for them. But the lifestyle, again, if you think about living in America, North Carolina, all the teams are based there, most of them. It's more or less always 2-day events, 40 races a year, which is crazy.
So you have your own RV and you travel, and then...
Yeah.
Exactly. And you go in the morning, Saturday morning, you arrive at the small airport, there's they hire jets, and then the whole team arrives, all the mechanics, everybody, and you go with the jet Saturday morning to the race. Sunday night, you're back with the family at the dinner table, cool. Kind of. So yeah, it's no bullshit. It's, 20 minutes of practice, 15 minutes of qualifying, and then the next day you race. That's it.
And actually, that format,
it's so cool.
I also think that benefit is a big word, but it would suit me more than having, or I like it more at least, than having 5 hours of practice.
Yeah, I think many drivers think that of themselves, to be
fair. They go there, maybe.
No, but I know what you are saying. No, I think it would work. And I think there's a bit more of a surprise. And like you say, it's a bit more old school, because nowadays everything is about data and analyzing and comparing. And, I think the less time you have, the more it comes down to your feeling and to your form on that day.
Exactly.
And that's pretty cool. So I agree. That's something I really enjoyed. And I'm very lucky that I had this opportunity late in my career, at least, to experience it, because I think when you haven't done it, it's hard to understand. I mean, the cars are so different to a GT car, even though the next gen car is closer. And the car we did for Le Mans was very cool to drive. That was proper, but it's still, we had some modifications to do to get there. But that was very nice. And if you guys ever have somehow the chance, I mean, I only can recommend it.
I haven't had the balls yet, let's say, in that way, to ask Roger himself.
Yeah.
But we always laughed about he should organize a day in Indianapolis, because he owns the track, and then get the NASCAR out, the IndyCar, and the LMDH, and then all the drivers swap cars. That would be nice. An amazing day. But...
That's definitely the right guy. I would say for me to race for Hendrik and Le Mans and to have that connection. And, when I went there now, I don't know when it was one race, because Multimatic, my race team, is based also close by in Mooresville there. And I went to Hendrik, and the museum he has is unreal. It's similar to Roger, let's say. Those two are legends in the sport. And Hendrik is the most successful NASCAR team, I think, still, even though Roger becomes more
catching up again
lately. And then to see my helmet there behind the glass, and then obviously the race suits and everything, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be part of that, even though the Le Mans project was strange to say, okay, you don't race anybody really. That's why at the beginning I wasn't super fancy to do it, but it became...
I guess you're able to enjoy it more than...
way more. I tell you, way more. It was so cool, and also my teammates, they were special and very cool, and the team and the whole atmosphere. And, Jensen and Jimmy and myself, we were trying, at least like in any other car as well, to kind of be the quickest in the race, and beat each other. So that was the challenge. But other than that, we were just enjoying it. And the feedback was so positive. So it was just all in all, there was no negative, even though we had a gearbox failure, which we needed to change at the end, which was a bummer because we would have been the highest ranked, let's say, GT car. And we
But
didn't.
indeed, nobody, I mean, I at least don't remember that. I just remember there was a cool NASCAR driving there, which was huge and super quick on the straights.
Yeah, it was very fast in the straights.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We had to be fast. We were a bit slow. As you know, we got
American muscles.
there was a blue flag in the Porsche corners every lap for us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Remember that discussion in the drivers' meeting when
But
they
it
said,
wasn't that bad. You guys were
no,
quick
we
there.
were as quick as yeah. But they were afraid.
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
And when you see the pictures, it looked like it was like supersized, like
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Exactly.
That was so cool. That was a good one.
And also you need to get in through the window. The doors wouldn't open. That was like proper
Yeah, that
NASCAR
was
style.
fun.
Even in the mall, it was like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you, the first pit stop driver changes we did, they were not fantastic. It was
No.
a bit of a show there. But also the pit stops, the guys, they were. Remember when they do the pit stop competition?
Those big. Yes.
Yeah, they brought in the proper guys from NASCAR, from Hendrick, and they used the how
The
you
air
call
jack,
it? Not the air jack. The
Hand jack?
well, they say jackman. So the guy
Yeah.
with the manual
Yeah.
jack basically, and checking up the car on one side and then running around on the other side. And we were still we were second in the pit stop competition, just by like a few tenths, beaten by Peugeot. I think it was not the right timing by the French. We should have been the quickest.
Probably, yeah. They wouldn't want to let the Americans win there, I guess.
Exactly. No, but it was a cool experience. I really don't regret that at all. And that gave me the chance that gave me the chance to do JDC. That gave me the chance now with Ford, probably somehow, as we all know, you have to be present, even though it was a project, on a different, with a different.
Yeah. So we're approaching the hour already. So we have 2 or 3 topics from somebody who we have to ask you, and then we have some end of the podcast questions. There's a rumor that you're not so good at pickleball.
It's for sure Mr. Mies saying that. Can only be him, because I am clearly in our team.
I don't even know what pickleball is, to be honest.
Oh, you don't know? For
I
me,
know
it's
padel
the coolest sport.
Yeah, is it?
Paddle is obviously now
Already
on the up.
old.
Yeah, exactly. But pickle, it sounds funny. It's a small tennis court. The ball is kind of like a plastic ball with holes in, and the rackets are wood, I believe. I don't know. But anyway, it's super fun. We should play it together, because I just started also this year, actually, with the guys, with Harry, my teammate Harry Ticknell, at the beginning of the year. And then we got everybody kind of into it. I mean, Misi is super motivated, Chris Mies, but somehow he's not improving. He stays on the level. It's not bad, but it's not getting the next step there. So
He plays like quietly, or he gets a bit aggressive. I mean,
sure he gets
he's
aggressive.
talking a lot. He can't be quiet.
Yeah,
but, but he's funny. I like to play him. He's and he runs a lot. I mean, he has very short legs, but he's really running a lot. And I definitely make sure. And then you enjoy it even more. When he's running and running and running. But Verwisch is good. I want to say he's not bad. So I think next year we will play more. Every ways we have the opportunity on the weekend, we want to do it. And I
Chris
think
is generally good at these kind of things like padel and tennis, but everything with balls, I'm a disaster. So I even avoid it.
Well, I would say I'm not super good, but I can do everything a little,
Yeah.
So I'm not good, specifically good, but I can play a little. So it's good fun, and that's the good thing about this game. It's easy to learn straight away, and you get a good game, and you sweat, and that's what we want, that you have some competition.
As you mentioned, your teammates with Mies. Did you ever get any surprises in your minibar or in front of your door at the hotel room? Or?
No, I mean, I know from other people that he is he was maybe more wild and crazy. I don't know, but I believe, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a bit older and he has a bit of respect so far.
He's married now and has kids.
He's married,
so...
he got more quiet. No, I don't know, but no, so far, seriously, nothing. I mean, super fun. I enjoy it a lot and I mean, next year we will be not on the same car anymore, but we will kind of travel together probably here and there, and we have a good time, and I enjoy that a lot. No bullshit. We just obviously everybody wants to win, but that that is being decided on the track. But beside the track, we have a lot of fun.
He's coming on the podcast as well, so
We'll
leave that information, what we're just actually talking about, we'll pose him that question to see if he dares to explain what he was doing in the past, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. Let him explain that.
Oh, for
I
sure.
don't know. Honestly,
ask him.
I didn't really. I mean, I just met him when I was doing 24 hours at Nürburgring, so I didn't spend much time with him. But last year, the long races again, super fun. I think, by the way, Lawrence, we when I was doing Corvette, it must be, we went paintball. Remember, we played paintball. Where was that? Atlanta.
Where I got banned before I was able to play.
Yeah, why?
You got
actually?
banned?
You were shooting already, or what was it?
No, I think it was you, Marcel.
Yes, you, and who else? Must have been somebody else's. No.
Was it Earl Bamber, probably?
No, well, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, you guys were there waiting, I remember.
It was because of your arrival.
Yeah.
With the rental car.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I arrived. I thought I wanted to be cool and do the U-turn with the handbrake on the parking lot. And the guy came out. He's like, "You're not playing. Get out of my property."
Yeah.
And
That was a good start.
yeah.
So did you play or not?
Yeah, in the end, I was allowed to play. And then I remember Marcel was cheating all the time. Or cheating. We would say we would stop playing and he would still keep shooting while he was like 2 meters apart.
Yeah, but he couldn't.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Do you remember the year? No. Which car were you driving?
I have a very bad memory, but I did IMSA from 2017 until 21.
So it was probably 18,
19, something like that.
I mean, we were doing Corvette and you were, in a car you don't remember.
Yeah, the 911 RSR.
Oh.
Yeah, time flies, Jesus.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, so we were racing against each other then, right?
Couple times, and
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember you in Daytona. Well, I remember 2 races of you in Daytona. One, I think you and a teammate had an incident going into the horseshoe, right? With the RSR? Or wasn't
on
not
lap
you
one?
in the car? No, I think later. There were 2 cars out. Was it not you involved?
No.
But definitely the race where you were fighting in the last lap, or last laps.
I would, Shamina.
Exactly. Yeah, that was obviously, everybody watched that.
Yeah,
I
remember.
Battle. Yeah, sorry. Now we got distracted.
That's a cool memory, but that's one trophy I'm missing here, so yeah.
Oh,
I heard a little bit more.
Yeah, that happens. What else you had?
Do you have any questions to us?
Well, honestly, probably a lot of questions. I should maybe start my podcast and then I can ask you guys. But
reverse interview.
Seriously, I think, as I have 2 boys and they love racing as well and go-karts and so on, how did you guys manage, all your career to not be jealous or, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, of course, what's the difference in age with you two?
7
Oh,
years.
so it's quite a gap. So, sorry, I didn't know that. I thought.
Well, Dries was and maybe still is jealous. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But when you have 2 boys, you have to obviously try to. I'm talking about racing and go-karts, and I'm not doing that yet. We talked earlier how expensive it is, but I can imagine that was not so easy. But also, I thought maybe you guys are a bit closer. And
I think it's interesting from Dries's point of view, because I do think that you were always the younger brother until 5, 6, 7 years ago, where you started to make really a name of yourself. So maybe you can take on that topic a bit more.
For sure, between us two, there was never something.
No.
When we were jealous. So, I mean, we were always happy for each other when somebody did a good result or won a race or whatever. The annoying part for me, being younger, is always, I think, even if they do sports or not, they will always say, you're the younger brother. Like, they always will say it. Even if you go to a family dinner, when you don't do sports, they will say, but you're the younger brother, blah, blah, blah. And this, they always asked a lot or said a lot during the beginning part of my career.
Yeah.
When I just arrived at GTs and I didn't really know what to do. But then, of course, as soon as started to win some races and I won some championships, then it changed. Then they always just said, Dries, because I had a lot of times interviews. Yeah, here we are with Dries, the brother of.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck off. I mean, I'm Dries, and ask me a question. And that's now like different. That's for me the only annoying part of being the younger, which
Yeah.
I mean never really went against us, but that for me I would say was a bit of a more annoying part. Other than that, I think we were always very happy, and
I mean, we always
looked at each
tried to
other's
help
races.
each
And
other. But
yeah,
obviously everybody know the famous Nürburgring incident where it is
No,
actually.
I don't know what.
Oh yeah, no, well, you look at YouTube. Where obviously that's the part where, I mean, it's the
Still
same with your
today.
two boys. Or if they play a game, none of them wants to lose. And that's the same thing which happened on that occasion, except it's on a stage where it should not have been allowed to happen. But besides that, since then we agreed we would help each other more. Actually, now Bahrain, the last race, the second to last race, we did actually, because you were in front of me. I had to stay out of trouble, and he overtook cars, and I followed. And even one time he overtook somebody, and you guys went wide, so I followed you, and always gave each other room, and like really kind of worked a bit together, even though we drive for two different brands. I think there's pros and cons, but yeah, indeed, you need to have both of, if you say, if kids happy and none of them jealous, because then obviously they start to do things, I guess, to hurt each other instead of helping each other.
Yeah, and I mean, for our boys, it feels the same. They are 8 and 10, but like you say, it's always like the little one, and it's only 2 years, so it's not.
It's closer
for you. It was a bigger gap, but still, it was something I was thinking. When you have two kids, to kind of how did it feel for you guys, especially like you say for the younger one, because obviously the older one, you are right, you do your thing and you don't think so much. You're just you are the first one basically doing the pass, and then. It's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's very unique anyway. There are a few famous racing brothers now, I would say, or they have been with the Schumachers, you guys, and then Van der Linde, now all at BMW, all with you.
Yeah, they all joined. We have a lot of drivers at the moment, I think. Well,
you guys have a lot of drivers, actually.
Yeah, I don't know how many
but
we have
everybody,
exactly
I
at the
think
moment.
Porsche as well, right? Also, like so many. I mean, I know there's different.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, that's very complicated, huh?
Well,
I don't
we have
understand
factory drivers, and then Porsche, what they call it, select drivers or Porsche drivers, which.
Yeah, but factories, for example, sorry, but Romain Dumas, the guy, I know him well. I thought he's still a factory driver, but he's also driving for Ford a lot, doing stuff.
Well, this nobody knows what's going on. But not me.
Okay, good. So it's okay. So not only. No, I was just reading it. I was like, okay, what is he actually driving nowadays?
Me too, because I haven't seen him until.
Okay, whatever. But I guess
anyway.
It's because whatever. It's
no factory drivers is LMDH at the moment, and
Formula E.
Formula E, and then one or two GT drivers, like for example Thomas Preining and DTM, which is then also reserve driver in Formula E and LMDH, and then all the other Porsche's drivers or Porsche Select drivers, I think how they call it, is for GT3 racing, for customer racing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, BMW, obviously. How many do you guys have now? 25 or something?
Must be 20 or
on the other hand,
more.
It's nice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's plus and minus. I think, anyway, we are finished, but we are close to the end. But I think one thing, what was different when I started, the feeling in a company like Audi or Porsche, when you have only a handful of drivers in the company, I would say with the board members or everybody, employees, you were kind of known.
Yeah.
Because there were only a few. And now I would say, and that's a bit a shame in a way. I mean, it's great that the motorsport is so big. That's not what I'm saying, but it feels a bit more that drivers are more sometimes like a number, okay. There's especially in GT3 because, with the ABS, let's be honest, a lot of guys can be very fast, very easy in those cars. So it's difficult to make a big difference. But also, it's just like, okay, there's so many, like we just said, we don't even know. And there are so many, and there's so many. That was a bit different. And I want to say that was also nice to be part of that back in the day. And it's more difficult, I think, nowadays to really stick out of the group.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with that, because you see that and this is nothing against Porsche, because I'm sure it's same at BMW and everywhere, it's companies with a lot of drivers and a lot of people in charge. And you see like 10 years ago, everybody was using the term family. Like you say, nowadays, it's not much more like that anymore, even though they still try to say that. There's too many drivers to really be. I mean, it's the same if you have a small company with 10 people employed or you have a company with 300 people employed.
It's natural.
You cannot have call it a family because it's too big and too many people. That's the way things, the bigger you get, the higher in your career you get, the more you will have that feeling as well. But yeah, that's true. I mean, there's so many now you have to, I mean.
Yeah, also so many championships, right? It's like,
You win a race. I'm not going to go in detail yet, but you win a race this year, and then the next year you're not in the race, and then you're like, why? Yeah, we need to give the younger guy. There's still other drivers as well. We need to give them, and then,
that is a very different for sure. Like back in the day when you were rated as a good driver and you achieved something with the company or with a brand or the team, whatever, they would not question you straight away 2 races later, and that changed a lot. And I don't think it's really right, or it makes a lot of sense, because I think it's quite unfair to many drivers, but it is the way it is. Just new generation of management also, to be fair. Exactly. And that's it. Yeah, like I said, when I joined, there were people like Dr. Ulrich, or even at Porsche, they were there for many years in racing, and they had probably a different way of working, and that for sure changed a bit. But again, it is what it is. We have to, we are part of it. So
can't change it, unfortunately.
No, we can't change it. That's just a little different to what it was.
So we have some 3, call them quick fire questions at the end, where just quick answer. You can explain a little bit, but which questions we ask to everybody. First is, what's your proudest achievement in your career so far?
The DTM championship.
What is your achievement you still want to achieve, or you're still dreaming of, or you want to tick off?
To win a big race again, to be fair. I haven't done that for a very long time. It's nice what we said, what I want, but if you look when it happened, it's quite a while ago. So for me, that's right now in racing my biggest dream. We talk about racing, right?
Yeah.
Definitely, to win a big race or championship.
The next Monday, Daytona.
That would be nice, because also I only have 2 watches I won. One in Daytona, one in Le Mans, and I have 3 kids. And obviously that's something to give away one day.
It's electric road.
Or let's say when you're not there anymore.
You're one of the drivers. This is my big dream, to win the 4 24-hour races, and you've got 3 of them, right? You're only missing Spa overall.
Yeah, Spa, I won
victories.
Not overall. I won GT2 only. So that's true, yeah.
Nobody's ever done it, so you need to go to Spa.
Is it? No, you're right. Now I just focus on Spa. I will do it till I'm 60. Oh my God. No.
Overall, I still have 2 to go, so it's also work.
Came with an idea. No, I think it's a crazy race nowadays. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, with our program, there's definitely a chance.
What's the advice you would give your younger self, like the 18-year-old Mike or whatever?
Be a bit more patient.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think that's something I wasn't always. Well, I think one or the other decision I should have thought a bit more and be a bit more patient. That's it. The rest, I did many mistakes. So
yeah. But like I always say, from the mistakes is where you get stronger and you learn from. So you cannot, if you erase them, you won't be the same guy you are today.
Yeah, that's maybe true. Yeah, also that's true. Yeah, that's a good. For sure, you have to see it that way as well.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Thanks, Mike, for hopping by.
Hopping by is still in Switzerland.
He's sitting in his
living in my unfinished. That was always a dream to have a room like that. Actually, I saw you, Lawrence. With your fancy bike garage and everything. I mean, that's cool. I really want to do that here, and not finished yet. Just put in the stuff, and that's something I'm looking forward to because it's nice. It's really nice.
I finished it and then I decided 1 year later to move so I can start over again. But
you can improve.
The idea is there. Exactly. Well, thank you. It was very interesting to hear your story. Wish you the best of luck. I guess we'll all see us.
We'll see each other soon.
But see you in Daytona.
See you guys there. Thanks for
maybe
having
go
me.
for the paintball again.
Yeah. or maybe pickleball now. See,
Paintball?
come on,
I
paintball.
mean
Okay.
to try. I never tried.
Yeah, see. So I know that. Yeah, well, there's courts nearby, and
Yeah.
easy to
Yeah.
go.
We should arrange.
Okay, let's do that.
That's like a plan.
Sounds like a plan.
Enjoy the time with your family, and
You
speak
too.
to
Enjoy the
soon.
holidays.
Thank you.
Speak soon, guys.